Today we're going to talk about decoding the vision. So, like most people, we all follow a pattern come January 1st, right? We set our resolutions, our goals, bucket list, call it whatever you want. And for most people, what you could do is you could just hit copy from last year and paste it onto the new year. In fact, I bet if by January 15th, if you asked a group of people what was on your New Year's resolution list, they won't even remember half of the things they wrote down. That's how disconnected they are from the things that they claim they want to do in the new year, but don't even happen. So why is that?
Well, people stay on the surface, right? They stay on the surface of things that they believe that they actually want, right? And so they put a house and a car and lose weight. They put all these things on the surface. Now, if you believe in like the law of attraction, right? You think about the red car theory. You think about a red car and red car comes forward. You've got to get underneath this just a little bit, right? The universe is just a little busy. And so if you say you want a house, there's no sense of urgency for the universe to come and bring you a house. There isn't. That's all it represents is a house. I want a house, I want a car. But if you dig underneath and go, okay, well, what is the house actually representing? And you realize as you do the work that the house is providing safety and security. Now, if you say out to the universe, I want a house to be safe. I want to be able to be secure. I want to be able to provide for my children. Now you create a higher level frequency of what the house is representing, the why, and that's something that the universe can connect to. Because remember, whatever you want, you must exist at that frequency. So just general surface level wants and needs is at a very low level frequency. And you have to dig in. You really have to get to the root of why is it that you want something versus you need something. Those are two different types of work, right? Like you need, right? Your hierarchy of needs. Those things are what you need. Now you want a house, but how does the house go from a want to a need? It becomes a need because it represents safety and security, and safety and security is a need, not a want. That's the deep work that we're always talking about in Designing Genius. You got to get under what's happening so that you understand what's really happening for you so that you live your life and not somebody else's life that they told you should be living.
Well, and we see these vision boards, right? And everyone's vision board pretty much looks the same. Yeah. Because everybody picks up the same magazines, first of all. And then it's a picture of somebody in a swimsuit, man or woman, and some exotic vacation, some mega mansion, and a sports car, and maybe like a fancy watch, right? And then we just stick them up on a board, and we're like, oh, that's what I really want. You don't know why you want them. Mm-hmm. You don't know how you're going to get them.
Don't know what they represent.
And instead, if you just even took fewer items, and we also, what we find is when you really sit down and examine your life and what brings meaning to your life, it's usually not one of those things on that board. Maybe one or two things, but it may just be like you want the vacation because you want to bring your family together and you want to connect with your family once a year where there's no work, there's no distractions, where it's just family time and connection. And that's what that vacation represents. When you understand that's what it represents, and then you have that conversation with your family, hey, we want to go somewhere this year so we can do X, Y, and Z together. This is why. Then you can start that planning process underneath it. Okay, when is the best time to go? Where would everybody like to go? How would everybody like to feel after this vacation? What kind of activities? And you can bring that connection even in the process of planning that thing.
So that there's meaning in every touchstone, right? So what's meaningful for me when I go on the vacation is different than what's meaningful for you. And in most cases, when you have children, they don't even contribute to the conversation of what's meaningful for them. That's why on most of these, planned experiences, only part of the people actually had the experience. The other people just got dragged along the way. That's why a lot of when we take kids on experiences, they don't really understand understand the value of the experience to much later on in life. So that means we really robbed them because we didn't include them on what is meaningful to them. And it's about the ability to have people think, to be able to think, to go, how is this meaningful? Why is this meaningful? Why do I want to have this carved out time? And as you get deeper into behavioral, you'll learn how to not have to be contingent on going away on a vacation to have these meaningful moments. You'll learn how to actually bring them into your daily practice so you actually have a meaningful moment intentionally every day within your home. Don't need to be a vacation to go get them.
Well, and also, and we talk about this in Designing Genius and in some of the other videos as well, is what you may have wanted 20 years ago. You may want some version of that, but for a totally different reason. And maybe this is finally the reason that makes sense and brings meaning to it. So, for example, when I was in my 20s, I would have put a picture up of, Hailey Bieber in a two-piece and said, okay, I want to get fit and thin and do it for all this because I just want to look like that, right? But now, if I would think about, say diet and health and all those kind of things, the meaning behind it for me is because I want to be healthy for my family. I want to be able to travel. I have things that I want to do, adventures and things that I want to feel good to do it. I also want to optimize my health because we're building a business together, right? And so when I get underneath it, instead of recycling the same picture of somebody in a bikini because I just want that external thing, which I didn't want it that bad or I would have done something about it, is when you get underneath that, the power in that of actually accomplishing that, but also moving the needle down is understanding that you've grown, and what you've grown, now that's the thing that you can go after finally.
We love getting to the root of things. So
we love getting to the root of things. Join us to get to the root of more things in Designing Genius.